Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or whatever time zone it is, whether you in the world, it is your Lord and Saviour, with episode 4 of our Werewolf the Apocalypse Revised Edition actual play, Rage Across New York, although at this point it's more be absolute chaotic goblin gremlin things, because oh boy, has a lot happened in the last few sessions as our glorious pack has now a proper pack. They have been made part of the Sept of the Green, and a considerable amount of time has passed, which I'll explore in just a moment. They were able to retrieve some missing kinfolk. Some may have gotten some hanky-panky action with a vampire who may or may not come to bite them on the arse, literally or otherwise. We'll see how that pans out. They had their first exploration of the penumbra surrounding the Caern, and more than half the group on more than one occasion got naked, so that's fun. And that sort of leads things, oddly enough, weirdly, into the near future of 1 month from when the rite of passage has been completed. So it is the 16th of June well, no, it's not actually, I'm jumping too far ahead. In the month or so that's passed, our Garou now have access to the various gifts and rites that they chose at character creation. Different members of the pack, of the Sept, spirits, whatever have you, have taught them this and that, and that's just generally how this works with Werewolf. It's not like Vampire where these sort of powers manifest over time and usage, and the blood, I don't know, thickens and richens over time. With gifts and rites, you have to go and learn them from a spirit or a member of the Sept, go on some sort of quest, and then once you've proven yourself, then you can earn them that way around, or at least that's the intended fiction, and that's the way that I'm going to work, because Werewolf is obviously a very different beast to the likes of Vampire. And at the end of the rite of passage, it was declared by our truth catcher, Stonewall, Getter Fenris, that within the next month or so, our Garou are going to serve as the Sept's guardians under the tutelage of Warder Spotlight. They were going to patrol basically the perimeter of the Caern. I will say that Spotlight has been very insistent about how the pack is to do things. Only in that just being staying vigilant and alert in a very usual grumpy manner that we have seen from him. And he's been very insistent that you never take the same route as you did previously. Now, mechanical side of things. Any gnosis, willpower that has been spent has been recovered in the time that has passed. As quote-unquote, this is a new story, at least that's how I'm treating things. Rage, we won't be dealing with that just yet. As we move forward into the next quote-unquote quest, I will be dealing with that. Now, that may not happen this session because we're going to explore the different activities that this pack has been doing. So it's going to be a lot of solo stuff. Not in the typical Law by Night solo stuff, just solo looking at the individual pack members as we have done in previous sessions, and who knows, we may get on to that general pack quest sort of thing. So, who should I pick on first? Thank you for volunteering, Kenzie. You made a noise. Right, so we'll start with you. Now,
Suffer.
Our Ragabash, Krynospawn, Bonor, Kenzie, was also an interesting stark shade of white, being an albino, or albino, depending on where you are in the world. A quirk of them being what they are. In and around your duties as Guardian. Well, actually, before I jump too far ahead, how has it made you feel now that you're an official member of the Sept? Because you've grown up around this place all of your life. You had your first change pretty young, at roughly 9 years of age, and then you were sitting around for about 5 years, unable to get into the thick of the action. Like, how is it that Kenzie feels finally being around and open to be a Garou proper?
Kenzie is very, very ecstatic by this. I feel like the moment they were accepted, even in the penumbra, they were very much bouncing with joy, having to actually be part of the Sept they grew up in for so very long. So to finally be able to be claimed as true Garou, even if they're at the bottom of the totem pole right now, they're very much still ecstatic, still brimming with a joy that is very much still plastered over their face and their actions as they take up every duty that's given to them with just the sense of glee washing over them.
Yeah, I couldn't possibly imagine just how great it feels like. A real release of the pressure valve, as it were. Just, as you say, you are still at the bottom, both in terms of rank, and obviously being that of Caern Spawn, there's a little bit of like heresy about you, sort of thing. But you're able to like wander around as Homid, not having to hide too much of what you are. I mean, maybe some people have a look at you as like, perhaps with the raggedy bag clothes that you wear, somebody presumes that you might be homeless, or I mean, it's the Bone Gnawer way after all. But I don't think people would pay too much mind, because this is a huge plot of land. Like it's a large bit of greenery with so much to see, so much to do. There's always going to be something for any regular tourist to spot by and do, whether it's the zoo, whether it's the pond, whether it's a little remote control boat in the lake, the Belvedere Castle we've looked a little about already. But we're going to focus on one snippet of your free time that Spotlight generously gives out, where at some point throughout your time is the actual creation of your fetish, your lost keyrings, something that you have been waiting, since the day that your mother passed away, where your father had come back from the mysterious UK city of Norwich. Out that happy, joyous time marred by a glowing red dot and blood and guts and a reoccurring nightmare of trauma and horror. Do you have any unpleasant associations with those keyrings, or is it just you're able to detach them in your mind from the good and the not so good?
Kinsey is able to fully detach those certain memories from the keyring. To them, the keyring is more of a heavy association with their father, more of the association of reminders of when he was still more both physically present, but also more emotionally as well after the incident. It's very much more of a keeping those around because it made them remember the good times that while they still happened.
Yeah. Well, that's good. In many ways it shows some level of maturity, but I also wonder if it's a trauma-based thing as well, you know, just locking that memory in the back of your mind and not approaching it because it's just too much for you.
Oh, it absolutely is a trauma-related thing. Wanting to keep the memories as separate as they can, not wanting their peas to touch their corn, basically. Just wanting to keep them separate for as long as they can before they have to come to that reality later on.
So, we're going to have you wait by some time by the strawberry fields near the Woman's Gate on sort of like the west side. If we view it as like a long rectangle, that's essentially what Central Park is. Woman's Gate is sort of like on the left-hand side sort of thing. Strawberry Field is named after, of course, John Lennon, who was assassinated. I don't think I need to go through the ins and outs of that very much, but that was something that you knew was going to happen. You knew at some point that your dad was going to sit down with you and go through the motions of what to do, what to say. It's something that you'd been looking forward for some time. So I can only imagine the air of disappointment that you have where it is not your father who approaches you, but Tamaska.
Kenzie keeps their disappointment to themselves as they just look up for a moment. Tanaska, it's good to see you.
She pulls her face, as sad and moody as always. Her hands buried deep within the small pockets of her short shorts, just looking. Yeah, good to see you too, kiddo. Yeah, your dad's not here at the moment. He's gone out on some business, some other bone gnawers around the city, so it's been tasked upon me to sort out this fetish thing. Like, you've got some keys or something. Sorry if I'm being a bit blasé about it, but I'm not as well versed with, bone gnawers as I am everyone else.
No, you're fine. Just, Kenzie pauses for a second as they reach underneath their kind of, It's very much a very heavily stained shirt that they probably found out of a dumpster behind of a thrift store, most likely. Just reaching down the shirt and pulling out the key rings, which are tied around a slightly frayed twine string, acting as like a necklace almost. They pull them off and present them to Tamaska.
She takes them and she like bounces her hand a little bit, like just testing the weight of them. It's got like an old like archivist librarian sort of feel with like all these different keys on them, and she admires them, holds them up a little bit, makes note of the string that drops by, and she hands them back to you for just a moment. There's a whole process that we have to go through in order to make this truly yours. And she looks behind us. If you wouldn't mind following me to the Hudson River?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
She slowly walks. You're probably behind her, or I don't know, you behind, by her side, in front? How eager are you to get to the river before she does?
Kenzie probably stays a bit behind her because, well, while they do know Tamaska to an extent, it's still very much staying behind and following behind is what they were taught because of what they are. More of a stay out of sight, stay out of mind until you're needed sort of thing, basically. So that's still very much ingrained into them.
Yeah, that makes sense, honestly. You cross the road, there are people mulling about, cars driving by, cyclists, the banes that they are. You get over to the other side by the sidewalk, and there's this big metal fence that she's going to attempt to climb to get over there. She's looking around to make sure there aren't too many people about, and she just says, just keep an eye out, will we? It'll be a bit more awkward if we get anybody trying to stop us from doing this. And she begins to vault over the fence. Can I have you roll for me perception and... what would this be for you, I wonder? Perception and alertness.
Yeah, of course. One success.
Okay. As far as you're aware, you don't see anyone giving you the dirty side eye or, you know, more frustrating interferences. I mean, there might be like a passerby, you know, just looks over and says, oh, just teenagers, you know, thinking they're better than everyone else sort of thing, but nothing that immediately screams like, we need to get the fuck and move on. She vaults over and she turns to you and says, do you need help getting over?
Nah, I should be fine. Not my first rodeo with this. Katie's gonna try to hop the fence.
Okay, because you used the word try, can you use Dex and Athletics for me?
Yeah, I can. Dear God. 3 successes. Dear God, finally.
Well, this isn't your first rodeo. After he was very competent with it, perhaps a bit more, a bit more used to this than Tamaska is. And she just sort of watches. She doesn't look impressed or anything. She doesn't look unimpressed, but as per, she just looks sullen. She looks around a bit more, again, just seeing what other people are doing, and she gestures you to follow her behind a set of trees where you can't be seen as much. And when you follow her into cover, she'll just say to you in a hushed tone, in case it's not obvious, we're going to step into the Umbra with this, so can I have you make a Gnosis roll for me? Now, I am counting the Hudson River here, as per Werewolf lore, as part of the Sept. So, that would be a Gnosis rating of, if I can't find the bloody table, which would be nice. Where the shit is it? Do not tell me it is not in this fucking... Okay, it's not in the fucking ST screen. That is really helpful. I believe it is rating 4. Let's see. It's probably the previous page. Yeah, it's difficulty rating of 4, so you're Gnosis, and you're going to need a minimum of 1 success.
Alright. That is 2 successes on that, so yes.
Awesome. You're able to concentrate your mind's eye, a bit more accustomed to doing this a bit more now, since that first time, not too long ago. You feel yourself and your body and your soul even pushing through the membrane that is the gauntlet, and how once more you feel this energy, this aliveness, this fuzzy, tingly sensation that you felt when you came over here not too long ago to complete your rite of passage. How the running river looks more vibrant, it's like shining with a glistening blue rather than sort of this murky teal colour that you're used to seeing. The wildlife around you is more vibrant. The bushes and the trees just seem a bit more filled with life. There are spirits of animal and nature and aquatic nature all about you. The ones that are more animal-like in nature are sort of like giving you a curious look and sort of to be more focused on you than their usual activities. And Tamaska is clearly observing what's going on. She doesn't say anything about it, but it's very clear that she's looking around and just perhaps passing commentary towards herself. And as she's doing all this, and I should mention a question to Nadia ever so quickly. You have the Rite of Dedication Talisman, which is the special rite that allows the Garou to bless certain items so they can travel through the penumbra without said items of clothing burning away with them. I'm presuming you would have done that to everyone else, like an item of clothing to everyone in your pack?
She would have done it to, items if they want to carry. Like for her, I know she would have dedicated her probably her new backpack, and if she could also the laptop within. Just she would go. It'd be something she'd make a big deal of, and there'd be very much a remember. You're gonna have to wear this every time. Choose carefully.
That makes sense. And I will say that if you bless the items within the bag, it would count as everything within that bag being blessed, because there's some people that would word it, only the bag would be blessed and everything else is just like dumped on the ground. So that's just how I would treat that in that instance. So the items in that backpack are going to go through with you safely, which is going to be a nightmare for my end of the bookkeeping, because I got a shopping list this morning of things. So your clothes, your jacket, your hoodie, whatever you're wearing with you comes through you in one piece. Which is nice. You know, you're not having to worry about losing those special items of clothing with you. You don't have to worry about getting a new set of clothes each time. Not, I think, is a huge concern for a bone Nora, which is sort of a bohemian lifestyle, shall we say. But despite all of this and how your clothes managed to get through in one piece, once Tamaska stopped busy observing the animal spirits taking dedication to your presence, she begins to dress down to her underwear. Do you mimic her at all?
Mitzi would, tilt their head a little bit before just, shrugging, going, when in Rome, and also following behind by stripping down to their boxers, most likely.
Fair dues. I imagine this all being fairly strange to you still. And also just seems like all the femme-presenting wolves that you know just have a habit of getting themselves naked. As she's getting herself undressed, her back's facing towards you, not out of shyness or anything, it's just that's just the way that she's turned round. She'll just cock her head back towards you. You've still got the keys?
Yeah, got them right here. Kenzie will hold them up and give a small little jingle-jangle.
She'll turn round and she'll just say, put them round your neck, and she'll hold out her hands and walk with me into the river.
Kenzie pauses, puts the necklace around their neck, and gently takes Tamaska's hands and slowly goes to the river, as instructed.
Her hands are soft and warm, which perhaps is something you weren't expecting. Perhaps there's just maybe the chillness of the air that's around you, or I don't know. There's a little surprise as you hold her hands, and she very gently walks into the river with you, walking out of the foliage, taking steps into what you would usually presume to be quite the deep river. I've just noticed the sunlight on my face a little bit. That's going to be very interesting to deal with. So she's walking backwards into the river, holding your hands gently. And again, you'd expect the river to be cold because, you've probably been swimming in here once or time. Maybe at a time you weren't supposed to and your parents had to tell you off or something. You'd expect it to be cold and warm up to you, but it's not. There is a very pleasant warmness here, and as I said, you've probably come here swimming before, but it feels different. There's this very warm inviting feeling to all of this. And can I have you roll for me your wits and primal urge?
I can absolutely do that. 2 successes.
2 successes, you say?
Yes.
As you enter the water, and you're and I said you're expecting to be quite deep, and you're able to walk through this with relative ease, honestly, which is all very puzzling for you, perhaps a little alarming. And as you're like walking like towards into the bank a little bit, and she like coerces you a little bit, so you're standing like side onto the little embankment that you've just walked down a little bit, you can swear that you hear very faint whispers in the air around you. You can't quite make out what's being said, but there's just women whispering around you.
Yeah, Kenzie will cock an eyebrow upwards, but just try and keep focus on Damastra, because spirits, as they learn, probably are very fickle, so it's best to try and ignore them when you can, and at best make peace with certain eccentricities of them.
I'm going to make a roll for Tamasku real quickly. In reaction to this cocking motion. She notices your perhaps confused expression, perhaps being a little alarmed by all of this, and she'll just say, "You hear Mara too?"
Yeah, I hear it. Sounds of whisper. Reminds me of when I saw a mouse during the Rite of the Inner Sky.
Yeah, I thought you saw a mouse then. There was a change in your aura when that happened. But yeah, you hear the whisperings of Mara, who is our other patron here. Mara is the older of the two. The Sept used to belong to the Silver Fangs, but the Silver Fangs, as she pauses, they neglected the Sept of the Green, and the Bone Gnawers came and picked it up and brought Great White Mouse with them. Mara now resides in the Hudson River. All of it. So you're hearing her getting accustomed to you.
That's good to know.
It's important to connect with all aspects of Gaia. Gaia herself, and she'll, still holding on your hand, like flex one of her fingers, grab round you, Earth itself, the penumbra, and presumably at some point you'll explore the Umbra proper. It's important to understand the difference and the balance between all these aspects, especially when we commune with the spirits to aid us in our conquest against the worm. And she'll nod towards the keys. That fetish, as with any fetish, will require a spirit to agree to make its home inside those keys. What sort of spirit do you think will want to help you with this?
Kenzie pauses thoughtfully for a moment, just a look of questioning on their face where they gently say, honestly, I think a raccoon could help a lot. They're smart little buggers. Getting to places they shouldn't be.
She nods and thinks about what you're saying. Yes, that's, no disrespect, that's a very Bone Gnawer answer.
Could I say, we like the little guys.
She smirks. You don't see her smile all that much. As I've said already, she is a very miserable looking woman, but that even her manages to move her a little bit. It's interesting learning the different thoughts and outtakes of everyone, because if this was me, I would have gravitated towards a weaver spirit, dealing with doors. But yes, it makes all the more sense now that you say that. And she looks around a little bit. Can I have you make for me another perception and primal urge roll?
Of course.
And you can do this at difficulty 5.
All right, then. Three successes.
Awesome. Almost in the same time, the two of you notice on just going through a bin on the other side of the fence, this very chunky little raccoon thing scurrying about, much to the annoyance of a weird metallic looking spider bouncing about on the road on the other side. It's strange because of all the traffic and the noise that you heard, everything is very tranquil, very quiet. You can hear the wind, you can feel it a lot more, as if it's the warm caress over your shoulders against your skin. Everything seems to be almost utopian from a Garou sort of standpoint, on a spiritual level, that everything in this immediate vicinity seems to be in harmony. And the raccoon spirit seems to notice it's being absurd, and it just whips its head round and looks at the two of you. And the two of you are obviously looking at it still, and Tamaska, not breaking eye contact from it, she'll say, "How is it you want to deal with this?"
Well, I know that with a spirit, you gotta give it something if you want it to agree to you. Or promise it something that it may want. So for a raccoon, maybe it needs help getting into a place it never could. Maybe I can help with that.
Maybe you can. Tamaska then makes a weird noise with her mouth, which, from someone who is soft-spoken as her, is a little jarring. But it seems to get the attention of not just the raccoon, but some of the other animal spirits around, and from your periphery you can see like this big old fish that just like swims on through, makes a moment to look at you, and then swims off again. The raccoon is unsure, and again Tamaska makes this very particular noise of her mouth, and it comes over, and as it begins to like gingerly walk through the metal gratings of the fence, quite literally its quote-unquote body phases through the bars, Tamaska will just say, "Sorry, this must be a little alarming. I'm employing a gift known as spirit speech." Yeah, well, I don't think I need to describe what's going on here. She chuckles to herself awkwardly. And then the raccoon doesn't come up to the embankment of the river. It doesn't come in the water with you, but it's like sitting and looking at two of you, trying to work out where the noise came from. And Tamaska again makes this noise at it, communicating with this thing. The raccoon now speaks back to it in the sort of like weird chattering, clickering noises that you would expect a raccoon to say, but it's still got that very weird, almost metallic and yet airy, resonant twang to it, as it's almost communicating with Tamaska, and this goes on for a little bit. I'm going to make a roll for Tamaska here. Oh, that one don't count. Okay. And the communicating stops for a little bit, and it looks at you, it looks at Tamaska, and Tamaska pulls a little face to see, as if it's expecting something, and it will turn. And she will turn rather. It likes the idea of you giving it something. It's clearly after something. Apparently, and she sort of frowns a bit more, somebody has decided to use that bin to put down, to hide a litter of kittens.
That's awful.
It is sick.
See why?
I think it's far more than the ones I see people trying to dump them in the river. So, if you agree this simple act of bin diving, she snorts to herself, we can work through and see how serious you are with this.
Yeah, I'll do it. Even
Okay.
if I wasn't trying to attune to the spirit, I would do it anyways.
That's good. There's some hope for the nation after all. She lets go with one hand and she holds out the said hand. "Can I take the keys from you?"
Kenzie nods before taking off the necklace with both hands, handing them over very ritualistically as they hand the keys over to Tamasia.
Tamaska takes a note of like the weight and the importance that you're handing to them, almost like the passing of a crown sort of thing. And she takes them from you, again, mimicking the sort of big gesture, even though it's not necessary, but, well, you could argue that it is necessary with the gravitas of the situation. And again, you expect the current of the water to carry you away, but it doesn't. It's almost like it exists to serve you in this instance. And she begins to wade through the waters a bit more. You, I'd imagine, would follow. And she will explain, it's not an instant process. I, in this instance, I'm going to keep this buried here, and in about 3 days' time, we're going to come back and see if your raccoon spirit will agree to aid you in this. So, I am going to make another roll for her. She begins to make a hole in the ground and place the keys in there. That's a rather chunky difficulty. Okay. Right, so... Right, okay. So she begins to bury this chain of keys into the ground, and again, as she's like parting the soil of her hands very delicately, it almost has a life of its own as she places the keys in there, almost like folding it back on in itself, like keeping it secure and safe. That would be something that I'll need of you later on to complete the process, but now you go and save those kittens.
Of course. He immediately rushes to the bank, and they're going to try and step back over. They want to go help them. Well, first, they're going to get back into their clothing first, obviously, and then shift back over to the normal world.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, can I have you make another roll, another Gnosis roll for me, difficulty 4?
Of course. 2 successes.
Awesome sauce. You do not need to worry about moving over. You feel the resistance, the gauntlet, the whims, the creation of the Weaver, separating the spirit world from the world of the living. But you're able to pass through rather smoothly. Now, as you move on through the other side, odds or evens?
Fuck odds.
Lady Luck smiles fortunately upon you, because as you step through, you return to a similar scenario of like people, cars, damned cyclists, almost if no time had passed at all. Now, you have enough knowledge to know that the time that passes here passes at the same time in the Umbra, but it's almost like the world hadn't noticed that you had disappeared. So, back over the fence you go. I won't make you roll for it this time, as you were so confident about it last time. And you know what? I'm not even going to make you roll to look for the kittens in this bin for 2 reasons. One, because I feel this is very Bone Nora coded, and I don't think that sort of roll is necessary. But it also doesn't take too long to work out what's going on, because it's literally just a bag on the top, like a big old sandwich bag sort of thing. You open up and there's 3, 4, maybe 4 kittens that just meow hopelessly, confused and whatever. And somebody walks on past hearing these cats meow and just remarks, like, "Oh my goodness, how awful!" And like again, a couple more people begin to appear as these kittens appear. What do you do with them?
He very delicately takes the kittens out of the bag, and because of how baggy their jacket is and how big the pockets are, we're gonna very gently put one kitten. It's like each of one kitten in the left breast pocket, one kitten in the right breast pocket, one kitten in like the right hand pocket, another kitten in the left hand pocket. Just putting them safely there.
Right. And what is it that you intend to do with them now?
Well, Central Park always needs more people taking care of certain things, making sure the balance stays there. So, well, Kenzie's gonna take them back to Central Park.
Makes sense. The couple that are around you, like, probably remark about that you're doing the good deed, like sending it to the authorities or whatever, yada yada yada. But is that the intention? Like, do you send them to like a member of the Sept, or do you essentially just release them into the Wyld? That is the centralized Sept of the Green Central Park.
Feral cat. Kenzie will know that feral cats probably are an issue, so they'll probably hand them over to someone more well equipped to take care. Probably want to take care of these poor kittens. Honestly.
And who is it that you're looking for?
Honestly, because they know what the Red Talons are all about, funnily enough, they probably try and find Spotlight. Because they know that, well, the Red Talons, while they don't like humanity, he is a warder. And probably would not want certain things to happen to these quote-unquote wild beasts that because of what humanity has done to them.
That is some very logical thinking. Now, obviously, you've got quite a bit of land to cover here. So, can I have you make for me a wit and investigation roll? I'm going to say just because of the size and things, and because you know that in your routes and things you take you're meant to be taking a different path each day. I say that because other members of the pack may not do so, but you know that for chance that Spotlight will be. Can I have you do this at difficulty... I'll make this fair and say difficulty 7, because I could make this a lot higher. I'm feeling generous at the moment.
Oh, that's a fail. Damn. Not a botch, but a fail, thankfully.
How long is it that you look for him until you give up?
Knowing Kenzie, they probably spent like an hour and a half trying to find Spotlight.
Right. And when you don't find him?
Well, the best other bet would be the hundo, honestly. Someone who takes care of the weaker of society, the Bonar way.
Indeed. Okay. I won't make you roll for this one, just because there's typically when he's in Central Park, he's typically found in one place. Well, one of two places actually, but I will say that you will find him in the place you would go to look for him first, which would be around Turtle Pond, Belvedere Castle in the background, the place where you saw Great White Mouse. He's sitting there. There's some other people about having picnics and whatnot. He's just sitting there, just like looking out into the pond. He's aware of your presence and turns round and goes, "Oh, Kenzie, I'm surprised to see you here."
Hey, Hondo. Good to see you. Got a bit of a weird favor to ask.
Coming from you, should I be concerned?
Nah, it's just, Kenzie will take the kittens out of their pockets and just hold them gently.
He looks a bit perplexed by this. The kittens are very unsure by both the presence and Hundo. It's like, Kenzie, you're going to have to explain yourself here. Where these kittens come from? Who have you been meeting up with?
I found them in a trash can. They were in a plastic sandwich bag.
Ugh. Fucking people, man.
Yeah.
He takes one of the kittens. He takes one of the kittens from him. He's a bit apprehensive. It's like, oh, you poor little Fane. He like scratches behind its little ears, like, oh. Well, thank you. It's like, how many of them do you have with you?
4. I was trying to find Spotlight originally because even though Red Talons are rough around the edges, I thought, well, they still like animals, don't they?
I mean, yeah, you got a good point. That's one way of winning over Spotlight, but unfortunately, animals don't like him so much. He's that dude's got a lot of rage in him. But I'll keep that in mind. I'll let him know they'll probably earn you a little favour in his book or something. I don't know. Oh, poor little Fane. Honestly, some people, like, what is wrong with the world?
Oh no, but luckily a little raccoon told me where to find them.
Yeah, I bet it did. Is that what you're doing with Tamaska then?
Yeah, We went to the river. I heard Mara down there in the river as well, the whispering.
Oh, you heard Mara. That's a good sign. And he smiles and he looks off into the sky a little bit for just a moment. Mother Teresa said that you would pick that up quickly. Funny enough.
I think that's why I saw a great white mouse during the rite.
Quite possibly. One of the last things she told me before she disappeared was her, and he stops because this kitten is wriggling out of his hands. Okay, there you go. There you go, I'm sorry. Yeah, she had some very interesting visions before she left, and people tended to listen to them. And she was very smitten about the things that you would do. Of course, as cryptic as ever.
That's how she always was, and we loved her for it.
Yeah, certainly do. He sounds a bit sad with that, and he just says, you know, everyone called her mother, but she was especially a mother to me. It's hard, you know.
Okay. Yeah, but I know she'd be proud of you, Hundo. You're doing a good job.
He turns to you with a quivering smile, and like he just dabs the corner of his eye and said, you know, if that was anybody else, I'd call you out on that bullshit, but that means the world. Thank you.
I'm alright, good Bash. I made lights for enemies, but I'm not gonna lie to a fellow bonar.
Wise man, and he pats you on the back. Okay, I'll try and work out what to do with these kittens. Who knows, we can probably, I don't know, give them a loving home. Hopefully nobody finds them and just puts them in the zoo as like a weird exotic thing. Okay,
yeah.
I'll let you get back to it then. Well, thank you. You've, yeah. You can see that he's clearly a bit taken aback by the praise that you've just given him. Clearly this is a dude that's not used to a lot of praise. Perhaps very much so with this particular sort of praise, which you can think is this... However you wish to think about that, honestly.
Yeah, but Kenzie will speak up. Maybe give one of the kittens to Dolly. I know she probably has an apartment around here somewhere, so maybe she'll like one after what happened last time. Honestly, give her a bit of a companion.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, that.
Yeah, but it's good seeing you again, Hondo. Kenzie will gently pat him on the shoulder a little bit with a big old, still childlike grin on their face.
He'll smile at that, and he like bids you farewell as he begins to go a little goo goo gaga with these little cats.
Yeah, and with that, Kenzie will, because their time is probably back on the clock, so they'll probably go back to their patrolling route, taking a different route again, as always.
Yep. And we'll move the plot forward a little bit, but like on the next day you go back and visit Tamaska, and you converse a little bit, you tell her what happens, and again she's a bit moody, down, whatever. The raccoon is like loitering around, like paying attention to you, reading your emotions, your intentions. The second day you go back, and Tamaska asks you about what are your intentions for the keys.
I want to use them to help Gaia, the Wilds, anything I can, really. I just want to be able to get into places that me and my pack can't usually get into. Sometimes you gotta think smarter, not harder. Why use our war for if we don't need it?
Yeah, that's not a bad answer, that. And she looks to the raccoon a little bit, still just minding his own business, like looking and investigating, like perhaps every so often coming over and sniffing where the keys are buried. You do realise that there'll be moments where you won't be able to connect with it and you'll have to make amends with the spirit, don't you?
I know that. Spirits are... We have an agreement with them, I know that. They help us, but in return we have to look after them, make promises to them. My mum taught me that.
She pauses. As I've said a few times, she's like generally quite a moody-looking person, but her face drops a bit more when you mention her when you mention your mother. Yeah. And on the third day, where the end of the rite of the fetish comes to place, for the 3 days that you've been coming over here and bonding with this spirit and having this greater relationship with the penumbra, the lost key rings, and just Gaia in general, I would like you to give a minimum of 3 points of notice up to, well, the keys, the spirituality, however Kenzie would want to reword that.
Yeah, they would happily do that in an instance. They want to feel that connections. They let up their more spiritual half to the keys because they know what that means to be bound to the spirits while also being part spirit yourself.
What does that look like physically?
Probably placing their head to the ground where the keys are buried and muttering the words that the lessons their mother taught them to always seek peace first before resorting to claws, to protect your pack because they will always stand by you, and most importantly, to always try and keep a smile on your face even during the most dour of times. Just repeating that to themselves, and as best they can in the Garou tongue as well, just utter a soft prayer to Gaia as well for the spirits to hopefully guide them and return her to her true, beautiful glory.
And what must feel like a lifetime thinking and feeling through all of this? I presume your eyes would be shut through this, just focusing on everything that you've just described so eloquently. And at some point you feel the light almost burning through the black of your closed eyes, which is a little bit jarring at first, just like the noise that just appeared to my left. Jesus Christ. You find that the raccoon spirit that was there is no longer there. Little shimmers of a bright white just like dissipate into the air, like almost like glitter. And the mound of mud that was holding the keys into place has parted open. Your hands are not muddied in the sense you haven't dug this up. It's almost that this has been gifted to you. Tamaska has also moved as well. She was sitting by your side, and now she's like sitting up a bit further, looking down on you. And she'll just say, "They're yours. Take them. Use them. Honour them."
Kenzie will stay silent for a bit before picking up the keys, bringing them to their forehead and going, "Don't worry, little buddy. You and me are going to save a lot more people. I know that for damn sure."
They almost feel heavier, not by a huge amount, but like you almost can feel there is something different about them, even though physically they are the same item. And the two of you pass through again, and I won't make you make another notice roll at this time for it, and you begin to cross over. You see your dad with a few figures that you don't recognise, and your dad is hurt. He's bloodied. He's in pain.
Yeah, Kenzie's immediately putting the necklace on before rushing over to their dad. Dad, the fuck happened?
It's all right, son. This what the sight of your bloodied and bruised and battered up father, who's holding his arm awkwardly against himself. Could somebody please explain what's going on? I can't deal with all this shouting at the moment. I've got a thumping headache, and those cats. What? Whatever. He turns to Hundo. Hundo, they're back. Who's back? Bloodied wolf. Hundo's face just sort of drops a little bit at the mentioning of this bloodied wolf. Oh, shit. Where? There were Times Square. They weren't doing it well. We got in a bit of a fight. I can see you got in a bit of a fucking fight. Wait, do not tell me that this happened over there. No, we went elsewhere for it, but it started out there. But yeah, they're back. They're back.
Who the fuck are they?
Bad news, son, your dad will say. Hundo will then interject. They were once a pack that were part of this sept, but they were not willing to listen to our ways, so we let them go. And it turns out they've made a bit of a name of themselves across this part of the US. They're not the nicest. No, well, not Ronin as such. They've been taken in by other septs before, and they do this, that, and the other, like a travelling pack. We haven't discarded them. It was a simple fact that if you're not prepared to adhere to our rules, you can go elsewhere. Although in retrospect, Mother Teresa probably should have done that to all of them, but alas, there's others in this world that applaud and perpetuate their hatred. Yeah.
God fucking damn it!
Son, it's fine. I'll heal back. It's just, it caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to come back here anytime soon. Just grateful the rusted claw wasn't here, because then I would be in a right fucking state.
How big of an issue are they going to be for all of us?
Your dad doesn't say anything, and Hondo just scratches his head in awkward fat manners like, I don't know. Hopefully not. In the end of the day, there's 20 of us and 4 of them. But who knows? Just keep your eyes peeled for anything that looks suspicious. As per.
That's my plan. Don't worry. I'll pull extra fucking routes if I need to.
Your dad smiles at you, sort of pats you on the side, because he can't quite reach up to your shoulders at this time, how he's slumped over. You're a good kid.
Yeah. Try my fucking hardest, Try my fucking hardest.
That you do. So we move along now from this somewhat concerning scene. And we're going to move to somebody else. We're going to move over to Dolly, I think, as that's the name that pops to mind. Now, Dolly had some very interesting character developments over the last couple of episodes with our Korax friend and another member of our pack. And I have to ask, very delicately, in the month or so that you have passed, have you gotten some action?
I've not made the third base.
Okay. How far have you got, and with whom?
So, she dropped by Nadia's place after an invitation during a time they both had downtime, whatever the hell Spotlight had them doing. And, sorry, Eric distracted me for a second. Yeah, they had a discussion. Nadia caught the very not subtle vibe of her interested in other women, and was like, hey, do you want to talk about that? Some tears were shed. Some confessions were made. They did try out like a little smooch, but Dolly is still figuring out exactly what it is. So it hasn't really gone beyond.
That's fair. So it's in the early stages yet. The blossoming of the flower, so to speak.
Precisely.
That's cool.
Also,
sure
is
nothing...
audio okay? I'm sorry. I'm just double checking that right now.
It's a pinch quieter than what it has been, but that could be just more of a positioning thing rather than a volume thing.
Yeah, I did increase the sensitivity on my microphone because I was picking up some extra noises. I didn't want to record any weird noises, but I've lowered it back down so I could talk again. Okay.
Okey-doke. Yeah, so hopefully lots of wonderful things can come from that. These feelings, that is, not necessarily with a specific Garou having just gazed from my peripheral what said player has said. What have you been up to besides this bit of discovery?
Well, I think she would actually be trying to learn as much as she can from Spotlight from the time that she is working with him. If not, she'd probably be spending a lot of time with Selma, or just, getting some work done over on the human side to make sure she has enough money to keep her place. And it's kind of a lot of maintenance, really. She's trying not to think too hard about everything that's gone on recently.
Hmm.
And she's especially trying not to think too hard about her uncle right now.
Hmm. Yeah, there's quite a
Because
lot.
a part of. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, you carry on. Sound like you had more to add.
Yeah, the last thing I had to add was she keeps thinking back to that day, and she's thinking her uncle probably knew a lot more than he was letting on, and she almost wonders if he was planning on talking to her about that night.
Hmm. Who knows? Well, I may know. Now, before we talk about the sour things, because that was something that I was aware that was something that you wanted to explore a little bit in this session, but the spotlight thing caught me a little bit by surprise. How is it that you would go about wanting to learn from him here?
Well, he clearly takes the Cairn security very seriously, and he'd probably be a bit upset if I didn't as well.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I would probably learn a lot from his example, just kind of pick up what he's putting down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that certainly does. In that case, can I have you roll for me um, perception and survival or primal urge, whichever one of those two is highest for you?
Definitely survival. I have no doubts on primal urge. It does not
Interesting.
come naturally to her on the urge side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also helps to understand the mentality in which Dolly would approach this.
That would be a solid 2 successes. Okay.
Okay, so early beginnings yet, you still clearly have much to learn. You are very much aware in the little spurts of time that you're dealing with Spotlight directly, because he's occupied with somebody else far more than anyone else, which we will get upon. There is definitely a level of, if you don't pick up the slack, you're going to die mentality from him. There are probably one or two times where you're pretty certain he is trying to kill you, something that I might have said once or twice already. But you do seem to, well, you're alive. you are able to keep up just a little bit, and I suspect that Dolly might have the what's the word? The intuition to think that this is just the way that he is.
Mm-hmm. He
Okay.
doesn't want to waste his time on somebody that isn't going to take what he's teaching seriously. That's the vibe I gather.
Yeah. Okay. The game's master has made some mental notes. So Salma, our silent strider, whose deed name is She Chills the Dead. Tamaska's, I forgot to mention, is Pin Drop. So, what sort of things would you want to be learning from Salma?
I want to begin a more spiritual journey to my werewolf path, because obviously I wasn't raised in a shit like Kenzie was. I have no idea where to even begin with that.
Hmm. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And you expressing this to her being a Galliard such as yourself, so focusing on the storytelling, the oracling side, I can't say that word, oracling sort of things together, she would definitely have you accompany her, similar to before, a stroll, but this time in the penumbra. And because you've mentioned that it's like something that doesn't come naturally to you, I think this would be part of your quote-unquote training to better appreciate the other parts of yourself. So could I have you roll for me what... Oh yeah, it's Gnosis, isn't it? I'm thinking W20, which does something different. If you roll your Gnosis for me at difficulty 4, as you're within the active Caern, that is the Sept of the Green.
I rolled exactly a 4. Go me.
Just the one success, okay. And I think that fits rather nice, everything that we have been talked about so far. I typically wouldn't describe it as such, but given your particular... what you've just said about Dolly, you can really feel the struggle and the pushing through, and like this weird alien sensation of literally phasing in and out of this environment around you. whereas Sama could teach you the quote-unquote trick of like looking into a reflective surface and passing through that way, and maybe Dot even did that, and Sama may just knock that out of your hand just to really force you into that mentality of like connecting directly with Gaia, even though some would argue there's actually a greater spiritual connection that way, staring into the soul or whatever. But you're passing through this weird alien sensation. You can almost feel like these sticky webs trying to hold you back, keep you locked into place, but you are able to push yourself through this construct of the Weaver. And similar before, as I described with Kenzie, they're these vibrant animal spirits. It's the green around you is very vibrant. Again, a utopia that never quite was, a utopia that how things should be. The skyscrapers of the Manhattan scape around you are almost taller, almost more imposing, more scientific, and just this weird fucking contrast between this lovely, almost Frutiger sort of landscape and then the absolute cold steel, almost cage that's almost trying to get into this holy site for the Garou, which, given the big old tourist destination that the Sept of the Green is, it's all just a very weird feeling. But rather than imposing all of my weird descriptions onto you, how does Dolly feel about all of this?
The only way I could think to describe it is, you know the original Wizard of Oz, where everything's like a sepia-toned black and white film for a while,
Mm.
and then it suddenly opens into like this vibrant Technicolor set. That's basically the spiritual version of. Imagine the spiritual version of that. That's what Dolly's encountering right now. She's just kind of taking a moment to just take it all in, very much wide-eyed, in complete awe. She looks around.
Yeah, and that's such a perfect description as well, and also kind of uncanny, you know, given the fact that we've got two like country gals doing all of this as well. Yeah, that's really cool. Obviously, with your clothes that have been blessed by this weird rite that Nadia has learned, perhaps in your little makeout session, or well, almost makeout session. This is where this has happened. Perhaps it came about through all of this. Who knows? You can write the fan fiction in your own time. Just how everything that you don't have to get undressed and just like be all exposed or whatever, and it's just like that helps you to get all connected with things more. And Sama, in her very elegant clothing and her headdress and whatever, she's smiling, and she'll just look to you and say, "How does that feel? How does this feel?"
She takes a second to answer the question, and she's collecting her thoughts carefully. And she'll speak up and go, "Overwhelming. It's very overwhelming."
She smiles and she nods. Just, yeah, I definitely agree. We've all been there. We all deal with things a little differently. And I can understand from where you are in the world to where you are now, there's just a lot to unpack, and it's all been very quick, very fast. And I'm used to travelling. This is actually the most I've stayed down in a place for a while. But clearly the guy has pulled me here for some reason. And she's looking around, and you again feel the wind, how it's like caressing over your body, like almost making you feel at home, a gentle lover's caress sort of thing. You don't see the people around similar to Kenzie before. You don't see anyone here. You don't even see like any hint that there would ever be life anywhere. No shadow, no life, no nothing. This is just, as far as you're aware, the two of you in this space, and Salma just like what's almost spinning around in a circle with her arms wide, almost just taking in life and everything around her. And she'll turn to you and say, "How would you feel if we took this little experiment a step further?"
Well, when in Rome, I guess.
It's the answer I want to hear. And she takes a couple of steps back. "I want you to chase me. Not as you are, but as lupus. I want you to feel what it's like to be a wolf. I want you to embrace that side of you. Feel the dirt churn up between your feet and just revel for a moment the hunt. But that you don't have to kill me if you don't want to, she says awkwardly with a wink. And if you're willing to do that, I would have you make a roll for me.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so you are going to be shifting into lupus form. So if you could make, I believe it is stamina and primal urge, which we've just established you do not have, and that is a difficulty of 6, I believe, and you'll need a minimum of 4. Is it 4 or 3 successes to go from Homer to lupus?
Not sure, but I will also propose there is an issue with this in that my dice pool is only 2.
So that takes you up. Well, if you were wanting to spend a willpower, that would take you to Glabro, which would be a step further.
Yeah, I could do that.
Cool. Well, you do that, and I'll try and work out exactly what to do, because there must be I must be misreading something here, because you should be able to go from lupus from Homid if you've only got that small of a dice pool. Let me just look up in the index while you do that for me.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and make the roll while you do that.
Yeah.
And
2, 3, 2,
sheet
4.
says difficulty 6, so I'll roll difficulty 6.
Oh no.
I rolled a 6 and a 9. Nice.
See, that was me thinking it was a botch or something. That would have been fun. So yeah, nice in the chats now, please. Ladles and jelly spoons.
Nice.
For fuck's sake.
That's beautiful. I have to immortalize this with a photo.
Absolutely.
It only makes sense you rolled a 6 and a 9 during this moment in particular. This is very charmed, so yeah, it makes sense.
I will go ahead and post it in the Discord. Not the chat here, just the Discord.
Yeah.
And then I'll post it in the chat. Don't you get your nose out of that. This is not your food. No.
Yeah, I think from here onwards, unless I find something in the rules that says otherwise, I think it's a bit odd that if you could potentially have such a low pool and then never end up in the lupus thing. So I'd say from like Homer to lupus, it's like 1 success, but then we treat it as if going round the circle, as it were, unless somebody wants to like offer up anything, because I might have completely misinterpreted something. Yeah, so you got the 2 successes, the nice 2 successes, which. Well, as I've just said, we're going around that way, so we'll just say that you're in lupus form rather nicely. Now, the weird thing about this, well, all of this has been very weird for you, but a particularly weird thing about the Rite of the Dedicated Talisman is not only does the clothes not pass through, well, they do pass through the umber without like burning away into nothingness. Your clothes also shift with you. So whatever clothes that you're wearing at the moment, which I think if it was anything like your rite of passage, like jeans, top, and some boots or whatever, those also mould around your lupus form. Again, a similar thing happens with Salma, although the way you both look is a little different. As I've described before, the Shadow Lord's fur is this very vibrant ebony, as if you are being coated in soot and the night, whereas Salma is like this sort of like interesting brown spodgy jackal looking thing, again with the sort of like headdress thing around her and the very nice but simple clothes. But then when she sees that, you almost sense in this wolfen state that she smiles at you, and then she runs off through the park. And do you give chase?
Naturally.
Awesome stuff. So I have a number in mind, and this is going to be a fun extended contest. If you're just going to roll for me your dex and athletics.
Okay, Dex Athletics. I'm assuming standard difficulty.
Yes, please.
Okay. That is 3 successes for the first roll.
Well, in this instance, you're able to get off onto the track. Maybe there's something primal, something instinctual about the wolven part of you that gives in to the chase, the hunt, as it were, able to keep up with her, almost like neck and neck sort of thing. Your vision blurs, the sense of the colours in your wolven form is weakened somewhat, but you are able to, as Salma worded it at this time, just like that first instance of this is exhilarating, that this is almost fun. So if you can make that roll again for me, please.
Sure. Two successes this time.
Interesting. Well, again, there's the same number of successes. You're able to keep up with her very smoothly. You feel your heart pounding against your chest. You feel pavement turn up into become grass. You can feel each blade of grass just like pushing you forward, as if this is what you were meant to be doing. This feels fun. This feels fulfilling. This feels like home. It fills you with a sense of purpose that you haven't really felt before. And doing it with a member of this, well, this set is almost like a part of an extended family. There's just an element of almost trueness, I think. So let's make that roll again, as the two of you at the moment have got the same number of successes.
Damn. That'll be 4 successes this time.
Interesting. If the opportunity was presented to you to overtake her, would you?
I think I would run up next to her.
Okay. You do that. Neck and neck. Almost perhaps holding yourself back because she said chase you, not overtake you, and you're, I guess, being a bit polite at the moment. So, let's make that roll again and see what happens.
Well, laugh really hard if I roll fail. 1 single success.
Interesting. Okay. When I said that it might have been you that was holding back, it was Salma. Only ever so slightly. Now, the number I had in my head was 10. She beat you, I guess, by 3, so she just able to go off a bit more. But you're able to keep up with her. It's not like she completely floors you or like throws a curveball at you. But you just run around this park for ages. It's odd. Again, weirdness and odd that you are feeling this sense of completeness about you, and it's like you are a wolf. You've never really done anything like this before, giving chase to a jackal looking thing, a woman who may be old enough to be one of your parents, who's playing this game with you, and like not mockingly, but it's all just so fulfilling and yet so very weird. So she then runs off with you. What must be like near the other end of the park. There's like this big rock statue with like this bench that curves round in of itself, and some trees and foliage around. Like they go behind the trees. She will shift back, and I'm presuming that you would do the same.
After a moment, yeah.
After a moment, what's the hesitation here, or is it just reflecting upon what you've just experienced?
It's just reflecting, for the most part. I'll sit down and really take in my new form as it is.
Okay. And how long is this taking in lasting?
About 30 seconds. Not that long. About 30 seconds.
Okay. So when you're ready, give me that roll again, please, and let's hope you get another nice result. Wouldn't that be funny?
Right? That'd be a 6 and a 10 this time, so no 9.
That is so close, though.
I know!
Yeah, but you are able to shift back, perhaps a little bit more comfortable than before. She's there, leaning against the tree with this big stone bench structure around, and she'll just smile at you and go, "How did that feel?"
She'll kind of sit down next to the tree, next to Selma, look up at her and go, I don't think anyone's ever played with me since I was, real little.
She'll smile and she'll slump down next to you if you let her. Yes, it's important for us to release this energy so often. It's why at the end of your rite of passage, the end of our moot, we had that revel and just running around and chasing after spirits. Some of us darted off and killed some Banes that were around, because they're always around. Because we all get, as with any discussion, any meeting, we get charged up with our emotions, and as you are probably aware, the Garou don't deal with this very well, and you, like myself, a Galliard, we are that bit connected more to Luna, the gibbous moon, not quite full. There's that passion to get the truth out, that passion to remember what went wrong, what went right, that need to learn, to educate, to make sure that we learn from our mistakes and educate. And it's fascinating that we are the ones that get that, and we are so tied to that. Isn't that fascinating?
And yeah, I'm struggling to wrap my head around it all. I'm not used to any of this.
No, it is a lot. And I apologise if I'm adding to this, overwhelmed this. I've had a lot more experience of this than you have, for sure. And there's a part of me that wish that I could relive that moment again, because there's some things I would have done differently. But
I'll lean back and go, well, what would you do different?
I was very eager to run away. Part of it is because of who I am. The Silent Striders, we're vagabonds, we wander around, as is our, I guess you could call it, a curse, but that's a long history lesson that I don't need to bore you with now. Like a lot of homids, I wasn't easy to convince of what I was. Unlike you, I didn't accept what I was for some time, and a lot of people got hurt because of it. I lost a lot of people who cared about me, and denying who I was just hurting people. Well, it was killing people. So well done from learning from my mistakes. She smiles. As bitter as that might sound towards herself, that she has a genuinely warm smile towards you.
I'm going to lean my head on her shoulder and just go, I think the only reason why I can is because this is all I really have left.
She pauses. What do you mean?
Well, there's no one back home I want to see, and the one person that cared about me until now is gone, so...
She sighs. I suppose you mean your uncle.
There's a silence coming from Dolly, but it pretty much just confirms what she said.
She sighs again. She puts her hand on your head if you allow her.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with this.
Nathaniel was a very interesting character in his youth. Kinfolk to the Shadow Lords. Not an easy place to be in at all. So the fact that he was able to get you, your father, and himself away from that is commendable.
It always felt like he knew a lot more than he was letting on, but I wish I could have talked to him about it.
Yeah, he did. She pauses. I'm not going to show you the disrespect and hiding this from you, so I'm just going to speak bluntly about this bit of your tribe history, if I may.
She's just gonna shrug.
Again, she pauses. Kinfolk, those of our family, both Lupus and Homid, that we so value and need in this war against Gaia, but there's some amongst us who show a disregard to our kin, that they exist to serve, that they exist to be, well, breeding livestock. The Shadow Lords are particularly infamous for this. Their kinfolk know that they're at the bottom of the pecking order, they know where their place is. And the sad thing about this is that they are made to believe that this is acceptable, that this is okay, this is their function in life. So, your uncle somehow managed to get you all away from this. It's a little alarming that you never had anybody looking for you, but I'm sure there are reasons for that. Clearly Gaia had some intentions, hence you being here now with me. She looks up and you see these little bird spirits just fly as if they are regular birds, but they just shine a very interesting, almost turquoise, flying in a formation of 4. I suspect he, having this working, well, essentially for Shadow Lords, knew that your time was coming. I guess he misjudged things a little bit.
Did my daddy know too?
Yes, he did. He was more content with things to play out how they were, not wanting any resistance.
Is that why he drank?
Sorry?
Is that why he drank?
Perhaps. I'm sure there are many reasons why he turned to the bottle. Perhaps it began with that. Maybe he forgot what the reason was. It's difficult to say.
Couldn't stand watching him killing himself anymore, if I'm being honest, so I'd rather be here.
That must have been difficult for you.
I remember he popped me on the face pretty good when he caught me pouring out his beer.
Wow. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say.
Well, she's gonna stretch a little bit and look up at the spirits and go, do you think he's watching us right now?
She smiles. Oh, I know they are. If not, and she'll gestures to the sky above her, if not from here, maybe elsewhere. The ghosts of our past, the ghosts of our former selves can sometimes persist.
I wouldn't give her just one more chance to speak to him.
She pauses and looks at the ground a little bit. And then she'll just cock her head slightly towards you. Do you own anything on your person that belongs to him?
She'll actually pull out her wallet and pull out that picture of her father, and her uncle when she was little.
She looks over. She places a hand on it, not to take it from you, but just to bend it a little bit, just to have a better look at it. Would you object if I took this from you?
As long as I get it back.
You'll definitely get it back. Again, I won't bore you and overwhelm you, but if he exists as a spirit still, and she just taps the photo with her finger, this might be the law to get the fish out of water.
I'm just going to look at her with a very intrigued expression on my face.
She'll smile. There's a reason why my deed name is the way that it is. I have something of a reputation amongst my tribe. Not that I would dare enforce any of that with, she pauses, him. Perhaps another time I could tell you more of the Dark Umbra. And she begins to place the picture away in a pocket.
Yeah. Well, don't hold out on me. I'm going to hold you to that.
Very well. So, we'll move forward time a little bit now. Still focus on you for just a little bit more. As you're again engaged in conversation with Salma, with this, that, and the other, not too far into the future, not enough time for her to truly investigate what she has agreed to. And as you're perhaps walking, talking, getting more open and friendly with Salma, a familiar face appears. That of the Shadow Lord who spoke to you the first time that you were speaking to Salma. Zachary. Again, suited and booted, black sunglasses, tight ponytail. And he'll lean over towards, he'll give almost a little bow towards the two of you, and he'll go, again, I find myself interrupting a pleasant conversation between the two of you. Is it alright if I once more borrow the uncleaf? And Salma turns to Dolly to see what her expression is.
I'll just glance up at her and go, I'll just be back later. It's alright.
She smiles and nods, looks up at Zachary. Her smile is not as pleasant with him as it was with you. And he will gesture off to walk with him in a similar route to that before. You accompany him, his hands behind his back. I've been meaning to speak to you sooner, but I've been busy on some tribal matters, and I have to say, we are very impressed about how you handled certain aspects of your trial, shall we say.
She will remain quiet and just kind of observe him.
Yes. Very brave, almost noble, dare I say. It's a word that I try not to throw around too frequently, given who and what we are. That, and I don't want to give the young Cleof too much of an ego boost. But a little birdie told me that proprietor of the club was something of a leech.
She'll nod and go, he referred to himself as a Setite. I'm not really educated on what that means, but I figured it might be important to share.
You don't have to. I know little about it myself, and you were wise not to mention that at the tail end of your factual, if not performative, retelling of the events. It would have made what I'm about to ask of you more difficult.
I'll tilt my head.
Tell me, and answer truthfully. Is there anyone else of your pack that knows of Francois' bloodline?
I'm going to pause and try to truly reflect on that night because she's genuinely not super sure. And then she'll answer, I don't think I specifically mentioned the bloodline to any of them. No.
Right. Perhaps I need to reword this more, just to be certain. Are there others that know that he... And he'll make a very awkward fang gesture with his fingers.
Yes, our theurge knows.
Right. The Glasswalker. And I feel I know the answer to this question already. Has the theurge done anything to interfere with his business?
I think she just simply installed a backdoor, but hasn't done anything else.
Right. Okay. How recent was this?
This happened night of, so it's been about a month.
Right. Okay. No, we can work with this. For now. He says this almost to himself, but it's clearly loud enough for you to hear this. I would ask you if you would refrain from updating the rest of your pack about your following activities with him. Because this has now no longer become a matter of the Sept, it's become more of a tribal matter.
Right. I'm assuming I'll be introduced to the rest of the tribe somewhat soon.
As a matter of fact, it is. At the beginning of next month, we're holding one of our own moots. They don't happen very often, and only a select few are really able to join. I would like to bring you with me, as you seem to have gotten attention with some of our elders.
I'll simply offer a nod, but internally, like, my mind is flashing back to what Salma said about my uncle working hard to rip us out of that, and I'm like, part of me is wondering if I'm wandering into a pit full of venomous vipers.
He smiles, seeing how easy you are to approve of this, unaware, obviously, of the oh fuck inside. I just want to hammer the point that what I've offered to you is a huge opportunity for you to not only further the agendas of the tribe, but also to protect and uphold the keep of our Sept. Francois has been monitored by several of us for some time now, and for you to be so willing and to show the intuitive to gain his trust the way that you did, it's impressive. And for someone so young and inexperienced as well. Not saying that you knew what he was from the get-go, but it's still something that there's certain numbers of us we could have for our cause.
She'll shrug and go, guess I just used what Gaia gave me. It's kind of a joke.
Yeah, and he laughs with that. Perhaps you're thinking of two different things, but he clearly sees some humour behind it. Well, again, well done on your work, Dolly Donahue. I won't say this too frequently, but I am genuinely impressed. I can see great things of you if you keep up this work. But again, try to make sure that your pack is not aware of this conversation and any other activities that you and Francois get up to. So for the time being, do what he requests, regardless to how degrading it may well be. And then he'll just storm off a little bit, leaving you to dwell on that final and perhaps chilling thought. So.
Oh no, consequences!
Heaven forbid. So, we're going to move on to another member of this pack now. Ezra. You are a very curious little critter amongst this pack. A child of Gaia known for peace, hugging your frenzying packmate into peace. But in the same night is the same night that you tear someone's arms off. In the same night of your first change where your first word is family, that of unity, that of love, you eat children. I'm a bit curious, honestly, what Ezra would have done in this month since becoming member of the Sept and Garou proper, in between whatever time you may have to yourself when you're not going on endless patrols around the perimeter of the Sept.
Ezra is for the most part, has been focusing on acclimating to this new environment. It is certainly quite the shift from the small little reserve that she grew up on, especially with all the spires and skyscrapers kind of like towering over Central Park. That said, it's not... That aspect, at least, doesn't necessarily bother her. In fact, it actually kind of excites her in a way. They don't have the same disdain or immediate disgust for humanity and what it has wrought compared to certain other members of the Sept who won't be named. As far as their own actions, they, like I said, they're keeping themselves busy, focusing on the patrols. They've probably gone on a few outings with some of the pack members to kind of get to know them and like further attach themselves to the rest of them. Might have gone on a shopping trip with Dolly for clothes and maybe a haircut. Definitely drawn to all the used items and whatever looks more worn or like smelly or lived in. Nadia as well, she spent a bit of time with, mainly just learning what the internet is, coming to maybe she shouldn't like rant about it or rave about it so much in front of some of the other Sept members, as it has not the best reputation among them. And also gifted a pair of wolf ear headband, which he finds very amusing, but takes off in certain company, but keeps to kind of remember who they are. Doing all of this to kind of keep her mind off of the fact that she never killed anything when she was in the reserve. She never had to.
No.
Everything that she was fed was already chopped up and ready for consumption. So the first time she tasted blood was of those children. And I would say that's probably why she's been avoiding Kenzie somewhat. Not deliberately so, but subconsciously they do kind of... She doesn't want a repeat of that event, and so is trying to stay around other people who, in her mind, she sees as able to defend or keep themselves safe. Additionally, I think she's trying to break through Spotlight's exterior. As one of the fellow Lupuses in the Sept.
Yeah. I think out of everybody here, we've all experienced a massive culture shock in one way or another. And I think if anybody who's experienced it the most would be you. Like, as a wolf, your thoughts and your actions would be far more primitive, and you're now also having to adopt a new form a lot of the time that's not your birth form. That must feel pretty unusual as well.
Yeah, it... Like I kind of alluded to before, all these changes, for the most part, she's actually taking to rather well. Her childhood was very sheltered, and she did feel stifled to an extent, not just because she was literally, like, held within an enclosure, but because she had instincts and impulses that were more than her kin. A curiosity and empathy that regular wolves just simply aren't capable of. And so realizing that, like, there is a reason for that, you're not just a wolf with a fucked up brain, you have like two natures within you that she has rather taken to that. And even the Krynos form, which has caused so much bloodshed, she doesn't hate. It's her, and she doesn't hate herself for what it's worth, but that said, she's still, although when it comes to interacting with the rest of the pack, she's usually in Hamid form or like, going out into the city. Whenever she does rest or have time to relax, she kind of retreats into her lupus form. She finds the nightmares don't come to her as much when she sleeps in lupus form.
Interesting. Yes, I imagine in many ways it must be very liberating, just like knowing that you're quote unquote not quite right, not quite fitting in, and yet all of this happens, and as traumatic as it is, that you're able to understand yourself a bit more, have a bit more function and purpose in the world.
So yeah, overall, I think they're focusing on becoming part of the pact, and by extension, part of the Sept. Learning what they can about Garou culture, and by extension, just human culture. They're getting a bit better with words now. It's not just single sentences or single syllables. But as they kind of have gained more understanding, they're starting to have some reservations about this whole thing. Not to the extent of full-blown dissent, even if it's just in her head, but she does get a general sense of world weariness and bitterness and almost like a spiritual depression. Especially from Spotlight. And that doesn't sit well with her.
I bet. Well, definitely a lot of conflicting emotions there for sure, and some things I've definitely made notes on, some much larger than others. We'll focus on one moment of time whilst you're on patrol, whilst you're busy, understanding, taking in human interactions, children that play, couples that walk hand in hand, cyclists learning what a bike is and these different methods of transportation, just how busy and vibrant things are. Sometimes you cross paths with other members of the Sept who are just able to blend in so casually, so easily, and perhaps the fact that you are so new to all of this and still processing so much that you feel you're sticking out like a sore thumb. And that's just something else. You've got these now, you've got thumbs, like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's all just so overwhelming and strange. And then one day, on the other side of this fence, the other side of your enclosure, for lack of a better phrase, a woman is jogging towards you in these... You notice, obviously you've observed that humans wear these different clothes, some are baggy, some are not, and some of them wear, like, tighter fitting clothes if they're doing exercise. But this is a face that you recognise also well. This is Natalie, who's jogging towards you, and there's just a moment where she realises who that's like walking on the other side, and she just sort of stops and just jogs over towards the gate and just... Ezra! Hey!
Hi.
Wow, look at you. Are you really finding yourself? That looks great on you. Wow. You doing okay?
Yes, thank you. My pack picked it up for me. I'm doing okay, as you said.
That's good. You, and she sort of leans forward a little bit, like, you're really getting the speaking thing very well. Really happy for you.
I am? Good. I'm very happy about that. I like speaking.
Yeah? Good. Well, don't let it... You're going to find lots of people who are going to be very angry that you speak. Especially looking the way that you do, so don't take any shit from anyone.
I wasn't intending on taking people's fecal matter. That's not what you mean. Sorry. That's a curse word. Got it.
Yeah, sorry, I mean, like, don't let anybody tell you what to do and give you a hard time. Oh, I probably should be saying that given the whole Sept thing. What I mean is, like, don't stop being yourself, is what I mean, you know? You're going to find people, especially men, won't like you because you look like a... Sorry, this is there's a lot more complex. This is sounding much smoother in my head. Yeah, sorry, this is this is a lot. I'm just happy to see you.
Speaking's hard for you too.
Yeah, it is. It's. I knew that this was going to happen, but it's one thing knowing, and then another thing seeing, like, how do you do this? And, like, I've been. It's weird because I remember you as a cub and, like, raising you. Technically, that kind of makes me like a mum, but obviously I can't think of you like that now because of how things have changed, how you change. And the whole structure of the Sept and kinfolk. It's a lot.
It's okay. I still think of you as my mom.
Oh, don't. And she does, like, sort of, like, flaps her hand against her face and, like, starts dabbing the corner of her eyes, even though nothing's happening yet. Sort of psyching herself up for something. That's, alright, you're just so... Thank you. Yeah,
Oh, have you had hot dogs?
Oh no.
Yes. I have. I like a good hot dog, actually, yeah. There's a burger stand that comes through every so often. They're not, yeah. You like hot dogs?
They're good. I still don't. Yeah, they're not actually hot dogs. They're just like, I think beef, which is cow, and pig sometimes. It's just a lot of meat stuffed into some bread, and it tastes good.
They do. Yeah. When you're not busy or ever, we could actually sit down and have a couple of hot dogs together. How's that?
That sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Okay. I'll come down here on my next break when I'm not busy working here or back at the conservation. You should come up sometime. I'm sure the rest of your brothers and sisters would recognise and remember you.
Yeah, I'll have to do that sometime. For a second, Ezra bites her lips, and part of her doesn't want to ask, but kind of another part of her just has to know. The kids, what happened to them?
Well, the parents had a funeral and collected up all the bits that you didn't, tear and eat. They're in the middle of suing us. Apparently we didn't tell them not to go climbing in the enclosure with all the walls, so they're trying to sue us. One of them started a Facebook group petition thing, even though it's very clearly that they were in the wrong. It's our fault, apparently. I don't think they'll win, but it's definitely going to do some harm to a park and its reputation and financially, for sure.
I'm sorry. What were their names?
Ryan, Mark, Peter, Jackson.
Ryan, Mark, Peter, Jackson. Ryan, Mark, Peter, Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
All boys. All trying to get views on TikTok, pretending that they could. So stupid. Honestly, every day that I see something like this happen, I just think the internet was a mistake.
I can see your pack through the internet. One of my pack taught me.
Right. Oh, you using you
My
learning
other
how,
pack.
yeah, you're learning how to use computers.
Yes.
Really
They're not
fitting
so
you.
bad aside from that TikTok thing.
No, I mean it can be a really great tool, but then you get kids like that want to be celebrities for a day. It's so stupid. But yeah, it's not all that bad. You're absolutely right. To remind myself of that more. Cooper sent his regards. He's been more busy lately, but he cares.
I know. I saw him on about a month ago during the right.
Did you? That's good.
Yes. I gave him a hug. Oh, should I give you a hug too?
I would love a hug.
Ezra does so.
And she hugs back lovingly and affectionately. I presume that you sort of match that or give one of your own.
Yes. Admittedly, it might be a bit tighter than she might prefer. Ezra definitely leans a bit on the bearer scale of hugs.
Yeah, that's kind of what I imagine, just like trying to work things out. Well, Natalie doesn't make any complaints or show signs that it's too much or anything. Like, she tries and hugs you back as tight. Obviously, she's not able to, but she is very clearly loving every moment of this. And as you pull away, can I have you roll for me perception and expression? Or empathy, whichever one of those two is higher for you.
Let me see here. Okay. Difficulty 6?
Yes.
Okay. That is 1 success.
You sense that something is troubling Natalie, but you can't quite work out the expression. It's like she was really happy a moment ago, and since she's pulled away from the hug, she doesn't have that same oomph.
Your face is sad. What's wrong?
She's surprised by how blunt that approach was. Like, oh, it's nothing. It's. She pauses. She shakes her head. No, and she takes a step closer to you. Cooper and I love you madly, but Cooper isn't doing so well that you're the one who changed, and not him.
Can you say that again?
She gulps. I said that Cooper and I love you madly, but Cooper is a little upset that you changed and became Garou and not him?
Why?
Because he's older. Because he feels that he deserves it. Not to say that you don't, because I'm sure you've done loads of really great things then. I mean, you had the right, so clearly you've done more than okay.
I hugged someone.
Okay. So I'm smirking because I know what you're referring to, but she clearly doesn't. It's something that, I don't know, it's just, we know about Gaia, we know about the war and everything, and we want to do everything that we can. And I think Cooper just wanted more, not just to be, well, just human. He feels a bit betrayed by Gaia, I guess. But I don't see it like that. Like, we all have our roles, and obviously we're here for a reason, and the things that we'll be able to do that you won't be able to do as easily. Not you specifically, but I mean like you as in werewolves. People are...
I can talk to spirits now, and some of my pack can talk to spirits even better than I can. I can ask them or go with them to ask Gaia to make him one.
I don't think it works like that, Ezra, but that is very sweet. See, that's just to gloat a little bit, that just shows that we've been good parents and raised... She cries a little bit as she's laughing. It's just, lucky I didn't put any makeup on. I'll be a right old state now.
Oh, I have some makeup. You can have mine.
Nah, it's okay. I've got some. It's just I came out jogging. Well, I mean I am jogging, but you know, this is just to make people think that I'm not on patrol like you are. It's okay. But you're sweet. You're very caring. I should probably get going. Knowing Spotlight, if he sees me chatting away with you, he'll probably get a bit irritated that I'm distracting you. So, hot dogs and up to
Gets
the conservation.
irritated.
Yes, irritated's a good word. Yeah. But yeah, we gotta have a play date with hot dogs and go and see your brothers and sisters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And she starts to walk off, but then stops, and then just immediately like jumps back on you with a hug. She's squeezing you a lot tighter now. I mean, she was trying to match the tightness before, but this is a definite like almost not wanting to let go, and she has to like force herself away. It begins to walk backwards into a jog, waves again, and then just turns around and just runs back off into the route that she was taking.
Where is Spotlight, by the way?
He's around. You can't immediately see him, but if you want to like go on a different route and look for him,
I would.
okay. Give me a perception and or actually a wits and investigation roll or perception. Which one of those two is higher for you? And similar with Kenzie, I will say this is difficulty 7.
That is, again, one success.
One success. Okay. It takes you a while to find him. I'd say like 15, 20 minutes, you know, big old stomping around. You know that he is going to be mainly with one of the members of your pack, but this is like one instance where he's not. He is walking about this big old green, this where you typically find everybody else sleeping at night, either in tents or some who adopt to take on their Krynos form, or in your case, your lupus form, similar with him and Stonewall, the other lupus in your pack. And he is just standing at the moment, just almost, he's just staring into these crowds of people. Some are playing games, some are having lunches and whatever, but he's just standing there, just overseeing all of it. Anybody who's paying attention might think he looks a little bit fucking creepy, but there's so many people here, and I don't think one person is going to point him out anything. But he's standing there with some jeans, a plaid top very similar to the one that you were probably wearing. His sleeves are rolled up, very muscular, hairy arms, like unkempt face, short hair. But he's notices that you come up, and he turns and he's furrows his brown a little bit more than usual. He doesn't say anything as you approach him.
I look at the crowd for a bit and kind of just smile, seeing people just being people. And then I look back at him and I ask, kind of gesturing towards them, why do you hate them?
He smiled. He smiles a little bit at that, which may or may not concern you. People can be cruel. People can be unforgiving. I've seen their hatred firsthand, growing up. I've seen what they can do to the likes of you and me. Hunting us for sport. For their own pride and greed.
You can be cruel and unforgiving too.
I'm just thinking how he's responding to that. Knowing what I know about him. Oh, I am forgiving. It just takes time. Respect is earned. It's not just handed out. But I will be honest. You are a pleasant surprise amongst your pack. You're adapting to this a lot better than I thought you would. He nods slowly. In many ways, most of you are. This is a dangerous world and we fight a dangerous war, and I don't have time to coddle you up and sit down with blankets and cookies and tell you everything's going to be okay. It won't be. You will get hurt. Your loved ones will die. And you need to be prepared for that.
Things can't get better if you don't expect them to be better.
When I was younger, I thought so. As brief as that was. People don't change.
Did you?
Yes. Become more hateful.
I think you're wrong. And I walk away.
Fair dues. So, we're going to have that camera float a little bit around Spotlight for the moment, just like transport him into a different moment in time as we focus on the fourth and final member of our pack, who, you may recall at the end of the previous episode, at the end of the Rite of Passage, who got a little bit trigger happy with a particular finger. And as punishment, whereas everybody else, as per tradition, was made into the role of Guardian patrolling the Sept, again, Spotlight focusing on the fact that everyone is to take a different direction each day. Nadia is doing all of her patrolling by Spotlight's side, for it was he that the finger was directed, and by giving the finger at one of the elders, it's a flip off to the entire Sept. So, who knows what the Sept had planned with this one? What does Nadia think about all of this?
Alright, so really quick, out of character. I'm having a bit of a health episode right now, and I feel really awful. So sorry if there's any interruptions or things like that. Just, yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry.
it's
Don't be afraid to speak up and ask clarification if you need it, okay?
I will. Okay. Alright. Nadia thinks this is just proof that hierarchy's stupid. That's just used to control. Used to make others submit. That's a way to hurt you because you're different.
Yes, I can see how Nadia would think of all of that, and I think that's a thought that perhaps many young, new experienced Garou have thought as well. Especially in somebody who's in a slippery situation such as yourself, stuck next to the guy who you wouldn't want to be next to right now. Naturally, he confiscates your bag the entire time you're with him carrying it on his person, either over his shoulder or by his side. Every day he insists on walking a different way, suddenly changing routes part way, just seemingly out of nowhere. Do you ever
Weird
ask him
fact.
about...
Nadia actually approves about that. The
Interesting.
first time he does it, she smiles.
Okay, I'll retcon a little bit what I was about to say, because he'll probably notice this, and he'll go, "Why are you smiling?"
Because you're smart. You're not being predictable. One of the easiest ways to get into a place is you find the patrol patterns. You don't have a pattern. That's vital if you don't want to get... Sorry.
It's alright.
Do you need a brief break so you can get like something to drink, or?
That was actually in character, though.
Oh.
I was kind of playing it as like, I am taking my own experience and just shooting it into the character because she's had to walk everywhere. And actually, important question: does he let her get her cane?
He would. Although
Okay.
he is incredibly reluctant about this. And it's very clear that he's judging you heavily for it, but he would allow it.
Cool. Yeah, she just... She's not good at hiding how she feels in, like, physically. She tries, but especially to him, it's somebody who's more used to body language and the like. I think it's plain as day.
That's totally fair. And when you're saying, like, you know, it's unpredictable, the patrol routes and all the rest of it that you said, he's smiling at you, like, almost affectionately. Like, it's clear that he's not used to smiling because it looks a bit weird. But you can genuinely see that you're taking on board what it is that you're saying. And he's almost impressed by... You know, he's not going to give complete control over you here, but, you know, he seems surprised that you're actually taking this seriously, given previous interactions. Yes, you are correct. Because if you always walk the same path, so will your enemies. Good. There's hope for you yet. We'll move the camera a little bit forward onwards. Well, the time a little bit forward. Still focusing around the two of you, as there's quite a big time gap that we have to be dealing with here. You're walking together, and there's a kinfolk. I think you vaguely recognised it was like one of the women that you helped rescue not too long ago, who clearly hasn't worked out the role of things yet, and she goes to approach him to ask him a question. It's something clearly to do with the Sept. Now, there's a part of you that expects him to blow up, because he's trying to tell you something, or he's like watching you or whatever it is, and you expect him to blow up, especially with the fact that you just know and experience him. He's clearly got a short fuse. You have also pretty much learned that you have been the fight, and he's a rune or whatnot. Like, his rage is pretty high up there. He manages to restrain himself quite a lot with this newbie asking him questions, which you might be a bit offended by because you're a newbie and he's been rather horrible to he's been rather horrible to you and everyone else. But he asks the question, and then she apologises for interrupting, and she sort of like runs off in her own particular way, and just carries on walking and talking. And he leads you up in a little woodland bit where there's a little curve round a bit of a further path that looks out a bit more of the park where there's this foliage and this wood bits around, and he just sits on this stone that's there. Doesn't say anything, but he just stares out.
How long does he stay here?
He doesn't look like he's moving anytime soon. 10 seconds becomes 20 seconds, becomes 30.
Okay. Well, she first takes a little time just to kind of rest. Kind of lean, it's like she could find a tree, she'll like lean heavily against it. She doesn't relax. It's like her eyes are always kind of darting from place to place. But eventually she decides, not really knowing what else to do probably the only thing that she can think of that she was taught during her time at the Sept, while waiting around doing nothing, as she just starts kind of trying to remember the exercises that Pond Skater taught her during in some of those early mornings, which definitely aren't perfect, but she's trying. Stretches. She probably doesn't remember the name of a single move or a single thing that she's doing, but she can at least remember the movements.
Yeah, which I think at the end of the day is the really important thing. And you're going through the... Well, it starts off with you going through the motion, literally going through the motions of things and like just... You know, just stretching ligaments and all the rest of it. I clearly don't do these things, so I'm not going to lecture you about those. And he's just still sitting there, like, a minute becomes two, becomes, like, and you're there for quite some time, but as you're doing this, something feels a little different in all of this. There's almost like, perhaps in the break of it all, perhaps your mind's able to turn off a little bit. You feel that feeling that's a little similar almost to that time of you stepping into the penumbra, almost time of the day of your first change, where you just feel this sort of buzz in the energy around you, that there's this sort of stillness. You hear like people laughing and like just general noise stuff into the distance. Just being one with Gaia for a moment, you're just letting this sort of wash over you, just the peaceness, the still of everything. And at some point it just catches you off guard, because he'll just turn around and say, "What do you feel? And what do you see?"
I feel quiet. I'm not good at quiet.
Many of us aren't. Especially me. He takes out a large air. It's important to take those moments and reflect, to meditate, to reconnect yourself with Gaia, your spirit side, and just be. Something I've had to learn over my years, and I find it very difficult to sit still, to not say something, to not explore.
I actually understand very well.
He slowly stands up and he's got like bits of leaves stuck to his trousers and mud and things, like as one would expect, but he doesn't do any of it with it, and he turns to face you. Shall we continue?
Sure. Can I ask you a question?
You may.
Did you think I was gonna die?
I thought you were all going to be injured in some way. I wouldn't have been surprised if you were the one who didn't come back in one piece, or at all. But the fact that you did passed my expectations, and it shows a tenacity and an intellect to persist. As much as I have grievances over your particular tribe, it shows that Cockroach was right in choosing you.
I'm sorry. Shouldn't have flipped you off. I am very used to people picking on me. Usually for no other reason other than it looks easy. Thought that's what you're doing.
As you're saying this, he takes a step closer. There's still some distance between you, as I'm imagining it in my head, but he crosses his arms, and he just shakes his head. I hold no resentment for what you did. You are following through with what our truth catcher has decided, and that requires some degree of respect. And I didn't do it to pick on you because of your difficulties. It was to teach you a lesson of how things work here. And you behaved as I expected you to. You remained and you showed a more submissive nature to your elders. The wolf side within you. That was until the Homid part took over. And he almost laughs. Like his body goes to the emotion, but he doesn't quite have the will within him to come through with the exhale of his air that a laugh would usually generate. But you are learning. You're changing. You're developing. Which shows huge character and strength.
You're not what I expected.
This is not the first time I've heard this, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Shall we?
Yeah.
We're going to move forward a few days now. And again, wandering around in the green, you know, getting a bit monotonous, even though there's a different path each day. Spotlights, overall tense mood is still there, but it's almost with time you're sort of more accustomed to it. Maybe he's actually been a bit nicer to you. Maybe it's because you feel that there's actual some respect there, that he's someone when he says that to you that he means it. His words have meaning. And as you're walking along at the beginning of your route, so you haven't done too much in the grand scheme of things, he stops and he stares into something. He nods forward. You see that woman over there, buried in her cellular device.
Yeah.
She's about to die. Save her. And he'll gently push you forward, and as he was about to let go, he will hold you for just a moment and say, "But do so without her knowing that you're there." And then he'll let go.
Good luck, bestie.
Good luck, bestie.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I've been practicing. One, is there a crowd?
Good question. Give me wits and investigation. And I think you are the one who has the specialty in exhaustive in investigation.
You are correct. You are
that
correct.
works here.
Right. Here we go.
That sounded like a
Alright.
chunky dice pool.
Oh, it was. Difficulty?
6. Just because of the specialty, I think in my mind and the narrative brings that down a little bit.
Well, I have some awful news.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh dear.
That is -2 successes.
oh,
Fight 9 dice.
Oh dear.
So,
oh
are we
God.
confirming that was a botch?
Well, I have
Oh.
1 success. I've got a 9 and then 3 ones. So it's not a
Oh.
botch.
Okay, so with the
It
ones...
is-
So there's definitely 1 success, so it's not a fail or anything, it's
Yeah.
just the one... Okay. Well,
Yeah, it is so close.
Okay. Yeah, that's rather unfortunate that happens sometimes. One of the flaws of the dice pool system here, that you can have all these dice, but then somehow just, like, get worse with the more dice that you roll. And maybe in the narrative of things is like, well, you have definitely been thrown in the fucking deep end here. It's all been fairly straightforward spiritual stuff, maybe stopping I don't know, something here and there, but this is, oh, wow, okay. But is there a crowd? Yes, there is a huge crowd present.
Okay. Well, I think she kind of steps in and just like immediately is just like getting overwhelmed, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Kind of starts to panic a little. And she kind of stops, like, okay, she doesn't know what's going on, she doesn't know what the problem is. So she decides she's going to do the sort of thing that she's done before to get keys into places. And she can just go and run into this person and just kind of like go, oops, sorry, and she's also looking for danger. If she can.
Okay. He did say, reminder, to make sure that you weren't to be seen by her.
Oh, you're right, that's true. In that case, she's like getting ready. I want to step sideways.
That sounds like an excellent idea. If you can make that Gnosis roll for me, difficulty 4.
Please. Oh, shit, that is 5 successes.
Yeah. That, unlike the other two who have stepped sideways so far tonight, that is buttery smooth, all lubed up and everything. You're able just to get through like this as like a natural extension of you. You are discombobulated, like not quite too sure what's to be going on a little bit, and then just, boom, you have the rough location where everyone was. But within the Umbra, the vast majority of what you see is that sort of like, as I imagine, the whole utopia thing as I imagined so far. But in that moment, you are able to notice that within the general direction of that crowd, there is a black silhouette that is just fading a little bit in front of you. Sorry, I've just seen the GIF that Calliope programmed that. It was doing so well. Sorry, okay, so within the Umbra, you can't see anybody other than roughly in the general direction of that crowd. There is this sort of like blacky, smoggy sort of thing in front of you.
Alright. I do not know what else to do, so what I'm going to do is... would this be considered a combat? Cool. Because if so, I would like to try to spend a rage point to shift.
Okay. What form you're popping into?
Honestly, I think what she's going to do, she's going to walk behind the person, or whatever this thing is, and then she's going to shift... fucking hell, Nadia, this would not be the smart move. Okay. She's gonna go to Glabro.
Okay. The man-wolf sort of appearance, yep, so not quite wolf, but not quite person either, yep.
Mm-hmm. Do I think this is a person? A
Roll for
thing?
me.
A spirit?
Roll for me intelligence and primal urge.
Okay, well, I'm good at one of those. Would deduction count for this?
Absolutely.
Cool. Don't fuck me. Alright, difficulty?
With you, 6.
Well, 4 successes. 7, 6, 8, 9.
Nice, okay. So you're approaching this thing in your Glabro form because I'm presuming that once you get over there, the idea is you're going to probably like leap out and like surprise them that way. Am I imagining that correctly?
I think what she's going to do... is... She knows that other people can't really see her like this, right? This is like a weird situation.
If you no one can see you in the penumbra at the moment. You are like in a literal stepped into a alternate dimension sort of thing, so they can't see you at the moment. Likewise, you can't see them, except for this little black shadowy thing.
Can they hear me?
No.
Shit.
Before you go with that 4, I'll tell you what those 4 successes mean, because that might help you, but then again, it might not. As you're going over there, trying to work out how you're going to best handle this, and you're thinking about, like, this looks a bit familiar, from pond skaters' natterings that, generally speaking, people don't leave, quote-unquote, an impression on the penumbra. Obviously, you've got animal spirits and things that are flying around you, so if you see something like that, it either means it is another Garou, which is a spiritual sort of thing that is like leaving an imprint that way, or it is some other form of supernatural that's there that is not having such a pleasant effect on the penumbra right now.
Alright. Alright, I think what she's going to do is first of all, she's gonna... I think that she's going to just take her hood, put it over her head. She's going to... Oh, gosh. Kind of like she's going to duck down... she's going to kind of duck down low. She wants to make it so it looks like, okay, there's a plausible explanation for why this person appeared seemingly out of nowhere in the middle of a crowd. She wants to peer behind them, and she wants to stick a gun in their back, and basically be like, "You're coming with me."
So, narrative: walking in the penumbra, and you're wanting to pop through into the penumbra, out back into the quote.
Yeah, I want to. This is a. Yeah. She wasn't. Admittedly, this is a bit of a panic situation. She's not sure what to do. So this is how she's dealing with it. It's turned into a pseudo-mugging.
That's absolutely fair, and I can approve of this chaos gremlin energy. So to come back into the penumbra, I'm going to need you to make another Gnosis roll for me.
Okay. Alright, you dramatic ass dice, continue doing what you're doing. Difficulty?
4.
Oh, 4, okay. 4 successes.
Awesome. Again, just in and out there, buttery smooth, like the Lube Man gift that's been playing in my peripheral for the last few minutes. Down in pocket, you have that very menacing growl, all bulked up and whatever. The person stops, who you're now able to see, probably black hoodie, jeans, baggy, got their hands buried in like a hoodie pocket sort of thing. They feel the gun press up against their back all of a sudden. Fortunately, because I'm feeling generous, they're sort of like at the back of this particular crowd, so I don't think anybody would have really noticed because of how big and thick everything is. And they stop and... how are they going to respond to this? Odds or evens?
Odds.
Well, they rolled a 7, so they're just going to slowly walk off with you.
Right. I think she purposely, like, shimmies her sleeve down to cover the gun.
Yeah.
Guides them. She... being very careful and deliberate, and she's gonna bring them right over to Spotlight.
Okay. And he's standing there roughly where he, like, threw you into the deep end. Furrows his brow a little bit. You feel this guy's shaking and quaking a little bit because, he hasn't seen you, he doesn't know what's going on at the moment, but then he sees Spotlight and he's just sort of like whimpering a little bit, like he resists a little bit. You probably respond like poking the gun into his back a little more. He carries on walking, he stops, he's trying not to get closer to this. For some reason, there is something about Spotlight that is really tearing the shit out of this guy, and Spotlight leans forward and just pulls him over, brushes over his hood, or like slapping him in the forehead doing so. And unless you stand with him and look at him face on, you can see that this is a teenager. Like 16, 18, that sort of thing. I mean, that's just being a rough estimate sort of thing. Like, this dude hasn't even looked like he's passed through puberty yet. And Spotlight is like forcefully going into like the pouch of his pocket and pulls out a fucking huge machete and just throws it at the ground sort of thing. There's a tiny little pistol that you would find in women's handbags sort of thing. And he like yanks at the kid's head a little bit and he just like yells a little bit, "Don't make a fucking sound." The waste of flesh you turned out to be. And he like flickers eyes towards you, almost menacingly, but then he remembers who he's looking at and he like recoils a little bit. Recoils the wrong one. He retracts a little bit. Very well done. I'm impressed. Would have preferred it if you'd completed the job, but then again, that gives me something to do with you now, doesn't it? Oh god, oh god! Shh. It'll hurt as much as you want it to.
Can I tell him something? She just leans in. It's like, she is not trying to be intimidating, but there's just... Unfortunately, she's a bit more intimidating in this form. Gets close to his ear and just says, "The next time you think about taking a life, remember that it's life, all life is sacred. Yours, hers, everyone. Don't take from someone else what you are not willing to do when you're not willing to do something with your own."
Noble words. Let's have a little chat, you and I. And we'll move the camera forward a little bit now. Who knows what happened to the little twink. Now, as with everybody else here, you, Nadia, would have a bit of free time to do something. Admittedly, you probably wouldn't have as much luxury as everyone else, and if you wanted to go off somewhere, you would have to tell Spotlight where you're going. He won't follow you, And he says he won't make sure that you are not followed, but he will allow you to go and off into the city and do something, if you so wish.
Have I been allowed to go back on Sundays?
Yeah?
Okay, good. In that case, I want to find somebody because I have a little report to do. I want to find Olivia.
Interesting. Well, curious enough, since the rite of passage, and this applies to all of you, you haven't seen her as much as you once did, but you know that she's around because you see that a fucking raven fly around every so often. Different from crows because of the size, and you just like have a hunch that you know that it is her, like not following you or anything. How is it you want to try and get her attention?
Oh gosh.
Sorry.
Yeah, I saw those
You know
two.
what? I think what she does is she's kind of like, at first she's thinking like, okay, I could yell her name, I could do all this, then she decides, she just takes her necklace, which is very reflective, and just gonna use that to kind of shine the light.
Like a little silvery shiny beacon. I like that.
Yep.
I summoned the lesbian.
What was that? I heard lesbian. I didn't hear the rest of the sentence.
I said I summoned the lesbian.
Oh Christ. Okay. I'm rolling for her to see if she's noticing this. Yeah, she fucking noticed that, alright. So it does not take long. You hear the car up in the air. You see her fly overhead, past some trees, perhaps behind a little portaloo or something, and she just wait a little bit. She comes back out, similar sort of clothing as before, all in black, short. Hasn't, still very much Olivia, although that, well, you're unable to see, but you can presume that interesting gunshot wound has healed itself up nicely. And she'll just go, "Oh, hey. Is that for me?"
Hey! Oh, no, this is something my mom gave me. I just wanted to get your attention. But,
Oh, you tease.
if you stick around with me, then we'll get you something.
Ooh. Is this like a date?
I don't know. That would depend on a lot of things. But also because I have something to tell you, and because I didn't know if you wanted me to do this, but considering what you said during the rite, I thought you might want it.
Oh, you are a curious little critter. And she comes almost skipping over, like a toddler at their first day at preschool sort of thing. And then she'll get to you and puts her hands behind her back and sways a little bit. So what do you got to show me?
Well, admittedly, this isn't something I can show as much as it's a tell, which I know you appreciate. So, remember how you said you'd have to try a little bit harder?
Maybe. I speak a lot and I forget half of what I say sometimes.
With Dolly.
Okay, and the storyteller in me is unable to recall that specific instance.
She was getting hugged by Ezra.
Oh, right, yeah, I remember. Okay, the Ron line. Okay, so blah, 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 she thinks about it. Oh, yes, that. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know the term for, Look, I know if you're gonna get someone who realizes they're trans is cracking an egg. I don't know what it is otherwise. I just want you to know, Shell is gone.
Congratulations.
And you're welcome. So, beyond that, I don't know. You're cool. I think you're interesting. thought we could hang out some, and I don't get tons of free time.
How is the big mangy puppy?
You know, I really thought he was gonna grab me, shove me in the mud, and try to drown me. He didn't. He gave me a little scare. Had me grab somebody who was gonna do a murder.
Oh, it's a classic New York behaviour.
Yeah, but honestly, I won't call him chill, but he's way more chill than I thought he was. Which doesn't really surprise me, because I'm kind of terrible at reading new people, so...
Well, if you call a red talon a rune, not quite chill and hasn't tried to kill you yet, especially with what you are, I think you're in his good books. That's really cool, actually.
Yay?
Yeah! I mean, given how, all pushy, shove, and all that earlier on, yeah, I think this is terrific. And I've heard things about him, and a lot of them aren't nice, so if he hasn't done any of that to you yet, whoa! That's amazing, girl. Go check you out. And she, gives you a fist bump on the shoulder.
Thanks. Honestly, I'm glad it went well. After that first night, I was thinking oh wow, yay, another place to not fit in. I mean, okay, I still kind of don't, but better.
That's good.
So,
I'm glad that you're settling in. But I tell you now, there's so many clubs out there who just don't even try, and the fact that you're pushing through with all the difficulties that you have in life, that's good. It's really brave and commendable, honestly.
I may, on occasion, have to vent where it's safe.
Venting's
I do
good.
not take orders well.
Makes sense. As somebody who talks a lot, I think talking a lot is important. Just unpacking things, hanging out with the gals or whatever works for you. You being last week has probably got a Tumblr blog or something. You just type. Actually, no, don't do that. I would recommend Geomid, but that's not as active anymore. Yeah, it's good. Honestly, yeah. Find something that works well for you, and for as long as I'm around here, I'll do my best to help out however I can.
I just vent to a friend.
That works too.
Venting online means people can find you, and as the one who usually finds people, no, thank you.
No, that probably makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway, where would you like to go? Any particular place that you enjoy? Shops that you like?
Ooh, I'm really spoiling me. There is so much of this city that I've yet to explore far enough because I've just been around here. Surprise me. What do you think I would like?
Alright. I do not know New York.
Sure.
So I'm going to ask
Neither do
a
I.
question. Do they have a beach? Anywhere?
Dove, you're in chat. Is there a beach in New York? Because I know that you are from New York, so... Help.
Hey, Dove, can we have a beach episode?
Yes, there is
Coney
Coney
Island.
which is I believe, if my geography's correct, it's down south, as it were. It smells cool. Everywhere in New York smells like piss anyway, so let's go there.
Beach episode, let's go.
Beach episode!
I will say She doesn't take a cab, she just brings her on the subway. If she needs to pay for the ticket, she will, but...
Oh, I'm sure that is all needed and required. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this to go off in the beach episode direction. At least I know what I'm calling this on YouTube now.
The unexpected beach episode, yes.
Oh,
and
yes,
to take the rest of us with you? Go on.
Yes, I was just looking at pictures on Google. Okay, so yeah, this is a big old fucking fun fair sort of affair, and given like we're in like early summer, that this place is packed to the hilt. Funny enough, the curvy goth girl is the one that stands out the most here. Everyone's like either way next to nothing, and there's just her like the missing members of the Addams family, who, unlike them, are remarkably skinny. Well, I suppose you actually stand out a bit as well, being all like bright and neon fluorescent. I kind of imagine like that meme of the two sisters, like one's complete black and the other one is like complete rainbowified.
Yeah, basically. That's exactly what is going on. Yeah, I think she takes her there, and she would probably go to a place that's a bit more rocky that people don't tend to go as much.
Yeah. There's probably somewhere tacked away on the cove, like a little rock pool, just a bit to turn away from everyone else. Maybe every so often, like a kid like looking for crabs down there or something. But yeah, it's a bit detached, a bit further away. At some point, Olivia would have insisted on getting ice cream, and she'd probably get you some as well. What sort of ice cream does Nadia like?
Oh, gosh. For Nadia, it is... She very much likes ones with fruit in it. Just the more... Yeah, and not like, I want strawberry. No. Nothing like that. She wants the weird shit. She like, give me... And I'm not... It's, like, she would go into a place, see, like, I'm blanking on what it's called. It's like this dragon fruit. She'd be, like, all over that sort of thing.
This is New York. I'm sure something like that exists somewhere. And honestly enough, I was just going to give Olivia a strawberry because I just thought that was just really simple and funny. So the complete contrast here works beautifully. So you got your ice creams. You're as prepared as you can be for an off ad-lib sort of date scenario with the two of you here. She is sitting on the edge of this rock pool, like she's taken her shoes off. You can see that she's painted her nails black, as are the nails on her hands, and she's sort of like kicking her feet about, like occasionally just splashing the water like a bloody toddler, just enjoying life.
Well, I will say this: Nadia does the same, and despite all the color, her nails are also black. She honestly. The only makeup she wears is black. It is so it's like on her nails, toenails. She wears like black lipstick. And I do mean every time anyone has seen her, no one has seen her without this.
Fair enough, so there's actually quite a lot in common here.
Despite the color contrast otherwise. And I think she just kind of sits down and just kind of is looking at the water and just asks, "Do you ever wish that you could see like what's down there?"
Ha! No, you don't want to know what's down there. Yeah, if you think that... She stops to make sure there's nobody around, like looks up and around a little bit. If you think the Garou hate each other, you should hear what the Mokale think about the Garou. They're basically lizard kings. That basically they were the Garou before the Garou, but as the Garou tried to wipe all the ever-changing breeds out, except for us because we're on their good side, because we sort of like delivered messages back and forth. The Mokale got real salty about this, and basically you do not want to go up against a Mokale by yourself, because that's like trying to fight a T-Rex, like Godzilla sort of thing under the water, and there's quite a load of them here, and I actually think there's a load of Rokia around here as well. The Rokia, like the other were-shark sort of thing, they're also really feisty, so don't ever go swimming. Unless it's a swimming pool. But you might want to be careful about that as well, because you may like go into like a frenzy if a kid like pees the pool and everything just turns purple. Was that much?
Well, that takes a weird childhood dream and puts it on his head. Cool. All right.
Sorry.
Cool.
Sorry.
It's fine. It just keeps happening.
Yeah. And
Ugh.
she nervously licks strawberry ice cream, or what's left of it. Well, for the plus side, at least you found that out now and not when it happens.
Well, I'll be very, very careful. Are rivers good?
Depends on the river.
All right, stick to
Hudson
where the
River, from
humans
I understand,
go.
is where people go is generally a good thing. Like Hudson River, I think someone told me that there was a Rokia that went up there because they got a bit lost, but that was difficult to get that one back out. Apparently, it was a few years ago, like before the whole thing that happened at the set. But generally safe. That river's safe. That's the whole Sept of the Green thing. Yeah.
Sorry, you're not really getting it right now, but like, I assume you know why I talked to you. Like I came over for the right thing.
I'm beginning to think it wasn't for a nice beach day and ice cream.
I mean, if they would let me, yeah. I totally would have. I think I would have pissed literally everyone off. You know, again. But no. Because they were ignoring you.
Oh. Who? The pack? The Sept?
Yep.
Oh.
Everybody, they were acting like you weren't there.
Well, probably because I'm not quote-unquote a part of the Sept, I'm a visiting guest. So it's to be expected. I was around and I knew that there was something that was going on. Reporting back, Gaia's warriors to all the other Septs in New York. But yeah, I suppose, thinking about it, it isn't very nice, is it? All the things we do for them. No, I want you little cutie, and she gives you a peck on the cheek.
Apparently, this isn't particularly common for people in my tribe, but I tend to focus on those others ignore. Most of my life, I've been one of those that others have ignored. So...
Right. You mean like the whole walking stick thing and the cracking of the egg?
Yeah. I had to change schools for that one.
Ouch.
Don't worry, nothing bad happened. It was precautionary. My mom wouldn't let me go. She said it wasn't safe. She probably was right. Still. But yeah, no, I feel like haven't spent a lot of time at the Sept yet, but you know how we're all supposed to have roles?
Well, I know how you're all supposed to have roles. The Korax is a little different. We're not as organised as you are.
It probably has its advantages.
Yep.
When I learned about all those different roles, I was really surprised I got the one I got. Because when I'm going around there, you know what I see? I don't see just a culture that has been doing something that works. I see it as I keep looking for signs of stagnation. These things they've gotten so used to, they've taken for granted. And apparently that's not my role to tell people, hey, this is bullshit. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? That's why I've spent so much time with Spotlight just shutting up. To watch them.
Hmm.
And it's just... I don't know why I'm telling you this. It makes me wonder what if the world assigned me this. Why this and not that?
Well, I don't know everything about werewolf politics, but yeah, there's a lot of infighting inconsistencies with it all. But why?
Oh God, I've joined a leftist group!
But all I can say regarding why this and not that, Gaia has some purpose for you, and you're able to take the fight to a way that a lot of people can't. Okay, so your right was finding sex traffickers, which on the grand scheme of Garou stuff isn't that big, but that's a pretty big thing that a lot of people wouldn't have been able to do. The hunter's there as well. That's impressive. And in the face of chaos, you're able to somehow stay calm through all of that and help the best
That was not
can.
calm.
Oh.
But thanks.
Well, you definitely made it look like it was, which is impressive. And it's just, you'll learn more and just find your place, and people will find things for you to do, and the more good things that you do for the Sept, you'll gain renown, and then you'll move your way back up and things. And honestly, do push back a little bit. And she looks at you a bit more with that. She's sort of been looking a bit of everywhere, like she's unable to focus her eyes on everything. But when she says push back a little bit, she does make eye contact with you. You may not be a ragabash that does like tricks and pranksters that makes people think about things, but you're Fierge. Like, your role is to, well, amongst other things, is to deal and talk with spirits. That you are a living proof that violence isn't always the answer. Sometimes it's needed, and you'll need to learn when that is and is not. But your role's a pretty important one within this. I mean, they're all important, but don't discredit yourself because you're new to all of this. And sure, you're Cleaf now, but the more that you do, the more respect that you'll do, the more trust you'll get. And yeah, it's going to take a while, but keep at it. You got this. And she almost toasts her cone, which has got no ice cream in it now, as if it was a drink, and then just shoves the cone in her mouth. Children,
I think she just kind of... I think she just kind of laughs and it just goes, man, I didn't want to make it all serious. What the fuck? Why am I so bad at this?
Hey, I just told you that you can't go swimming again and without the potentiality being eaten. It's what we do. We just thrive on generational trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and there are vampires in the waters as well. They're very rare. You usually find them a bit further out the sea, like the Caribbean. Occasionally you'll get...
What?
Sorry.
Okay, alright. Well, I'm just dealing with the one right now. Gathering information on their network. And putting feelers out. One day, that guy's going to be very surprised when the entire network all gets, I don't know, maybe reported to the FBI or something. We're going to see. Honestly, the problem is all I really have are cops. And, yeah. I'm going to figure out something.
Just...
Because that can't continue.
No. you're right. Just be careful with vampires. Okay, they can only operate at night, but they can do things during the day. You know, they've got people who follow them as well. Just be careful.
I know. Okay, I don't know. I actually have no fucking clue. I am taking your word for it.
Good. You're a wise Garou
But-
listening to the rambling Korax.
You think I don't ramble? Oh
I
my
didn't say
god,
that. I didn't say that you didn't, it's just we talk a lot and people just think that we're annoying.
It's not annoying. That's... Communication is the core of literally everything we do.
I know!
We can't get anything done unless we talk.
Exactly! They have whole things where they do nothing but talk and blow off steam. And then they have meetings within meetings. And yeah, apparently we just tell them some advice and they just get annoyed with us. But then again, that might be more of an ego thing because, you know, the Garou have to do everything by themselves. They're the champions, the warriors of Gaia. But now they have to listen to everyone else. But they didn't do that. And then they have to perform a genocide. Sorry, we're making it dark again. Yeah, communication is key.
No. I agree there. That's... When I heard that's what happened... Well, it hurt. Because I thought I wasn't a part of another... didn't have heritage from yet another genocidal race.
Yeah, technically speaking, we did it first. Well, I didn't. The Garou did. But for what it's worth, tribes weren't a thing then, and every tribe will say something bad about the Imperium, which they should, admittedly. But, yeah. Although, that being said, the Korax aren't any better because we just sort of, like, lay by the wayside and hoping that they didn't turn it on us, and we sort of helped with that. So, yeah, actually, we're not as good as I just made myself appear to be. Yeah, yeah.
I think it just puts a hand on her back. We're imperfect. People aren't good. They're not evil. But being kind is hard. It doesn't happen naturally. You have to work for it. You gotta fight for it. And it costs you something, which is why so many don't.
Damn. New Theurge, barely got the title, you're getting all sagely on me. I like that.
I'm an anarchist! I've been thinking about this since I was 13!
I'm trying to pay you a compliment here. I've always said that you're
No,
hot. Just calm down a little bit, please. I can only take so much in this heat.
Oh, really? That's the thing that you have trouble taking, hmm? That's not what you want.
What I want was not to be good with people around. She winks and then gets up. Come on, take me on the Ferris wheel.
Alright, let's go. This is, if I get a little nervous, sometimes heights are hard.
And on that note, I think it would be a beautiful place to wrap up this fairly chit-chatty social section. Well, things have been fairly calm a little bit, and the Garou, much to my surprise actually, seem to be taking their roles as guardians and everything else in between with some seriousness. I mean, there's been some danger here and there, and potentially a volatile pack that may or may not come in play at one point or another, but who knows? We'll have to see what happens next time in our Rage Across New York Wealthy Pockets Revised Edition actual play. Thank you ever so much to everybody who's been joining us live on Discord and everybody who's been watching us on YouTube. The comments and feedback so far have been absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to come up with the next session and see what sort of mishaps and chaotic adventures that this group will get into next. So like, share, subscribe and all that fun YouTube shit, and I'll see you on the next upload, whatever that may well be for you. And until next time, farewell.